Hello, and welcome to another episode of In My Experience with yours truly, Christine DeGinto. This podcast is a space where I speak from lived experience. The moments that shaped me, challenged me, and changed the way that I understand myself in the world. The awakenings, the breakdowns, the moments that cracked me open, asked me to stay present, be embodied, and be honest with myself. I share my stories not to persuade or define truth for anyone else, but to offer perspective, to explore the gray areas we don't often have language for, to slow things down and listen more closely to what's happening beneath the surface. You'll hear solo episodes where I reflect on my own initiations, spiritual gifts, and the systems that tried to define me. And conversations with guests who have walked strange, beautiful, and sometimes painful paths of their own and come back with wisdom to share with us. I invite you to take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust your own experience as valid. Thank you for being here. This is In My Experience. Hi. Welcome back to In My Experience. How you doing? How have things been? Things over here are pretty wild, but that is fun. I have an awesome conversation to share with you today that I had with Christena Shreve-Elza, who's a return guest. She was, her episode was previously released, I don't know, like 3-4 weeks ago. Check it out. This time, well, let me see, when was this done? March 16th. We had another conversation about a month after our previous one. So we were catching up a little bit and then talking about the future. And in our conversation, it was really formed around plants, creativity, shamanic yoga, personal sovereignty, and what happens when we stop following the straight path that we are given and when we begin to create our own. At the end of this conversation, again recorded in March 16th, I told Christena that I kept hearing September. I heard September, seeing myself in Tennessee and meeting up with her again around that time because she's in Georgia. And it's actually crazy because I would have been wrong 2 weeks ago. I would have been wrong to say that probably. But now it's right. And you know what? I'm realizing it was actually right all along. So I just want to say some things have changed. I intended and I enrolled and I was preparing to go for a cob building workshop in Tennessee. And so many things came up during my move. My mom had a lot of health issues, and that's not typical, like emergency room visits, etc. Like that takes a lot out of you. And my dad, obviously being there for her. Usually my mom helps tremendously, but she was very frustrated because she couldn't help. And it's like, don't be frustrated that you can't help. Like, just focus on yourself, which, it's okay. Some other things came up too, like the moving company that I worked with. They kind of weren't able to come through on the last day because they had some equipment failure. And it's like, that's okay. But I also didn't even have the energy to find someone else. It was crazy. So I was supposed to, here was the timeline. This was Friday. It was Friday. And I was supposed to be out by Friday. Saturday, the new people are coming. Turns out they did not show up. I never saw them. And I was there until probably 1 or 2 o'clock at least. So that's cool. Again, perfect timing. I was worried they were going to arrive early in the morning. That's what my landlord said. So anyway, I was going to paint and get paid to do that. I was gonna paint the bathrooms because they were never painted. It was like flat paint, which is really rough when you're in the bathroom, like for behind the sinks and stuff. Like you really should be able to wipe that off. So it's better to have some like satin paint or something along those lines. Um, eggshell at least. Anyway, so I was doing those types of things. I had that planned. I'm so capable. I was excited to be able to work things out financially because I'm honestly, you guys, I'm struggling. Like I just spent everything I have, and maybe that's a stupid choice, but like it's also a leap of faith, and I'm not really that worried. But like I'll be honest with you, like I don't, I'm fully dependent on my ex for money, and that's just alimony. I don't get child support, so it's actually wild. Just anyway, there's always an opportunity, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm not trying to sound bitter, like, oh, I don't need money, but like, what the fuck? I definitely need to find something where I'm able to cover my bills and like a solution for the life I'm trying to do. I'm not going to deviate from my path. I will delay it though. So, what I'm trying to ultimately get at is I did have to delay my travels to Tennessee to do this workshop. That's fine. It was the night before. I stayed up all night into the day, and I was supposed to be leaving on Saturday and heading down to Tennessee. There's no way. I couldn't do it. I stayed up all night the night before, and I was moving things, and I had to take way more loads to storage because, I didn't have the help that I thought that I would have. And that's okay. Things happen. But like it also, then I had to change the plans that I had coming up because that's just not reasonable. It just is what it is. So that's what I did. I was on the phone with Grace. She's showing me different things, talking about different things. A nice breeze came through and it hit me, and I was like, I don't have to leave. I don't have to. I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to keep pushing through. I can find another way. So I looked it up online. Sure enough, they have more workshops, same exact structure of learning, same thing. Actually closer to the town that I like to go to, that I already have like a little relationship with at the campground. I like to stay there. So perfect, even better. And I'm like, that's done, period. End of story. I'm just like, don't have to worry about this until September. So now I will be in Tennessee in September. I am currently here now. I also made another change. Oh my gosh. Today is August 1st. I'm recording this on Saturday, August 1st. And it's 111, by the way. That is, can't make that shit up. Anyway. Gee. All right. So I changed my mind. I had planned. Very, very, the timing is very interesting. With this conversation that I have with Christena, it'll come out as you listen. We're talking about monks that I've been following online. And I wanted to get involved and help because that's what I want to see in the world. I want to see people trying to get together and focusing their life more on growing and building things together outside of the systems that we have that already exist, that are actually very exploitative and not sustainable. So I want to change directions. I can do whatever I want. I love that. So can you. We're here on Earth. Here we go. Anyway, they have thousands of followers. Lots of people make comments. I want to get involved. I want to do this. I want to do that. Blah, blah. Okay. I really meant it. I applied several times. I became a member of their community, like paying like a monthly fee to be able to be eligible as a chosen volunteer. And they called me. They invited me. And I was like, yep, I'm actually already going to be in Tennessee at that time. This is perfect. Yes, I will accept. And I would love to. And I had planned to give them hundreds of dollars worth of seeds that I have, right? Uh, and some other things, greenhouse and irrigation kit, my time and energy, which is I mean, like, I'm not trying to, like, sound impressive with the value of what I'm trying to give, but, like, I had good intentions, so that's incredibly valuable. Anyway, it all sounded good. I feel like that's, like, what every person who, like, comes out of a cult says, like, "It sounded great. What they were saying they were trying to do sounded great, and I wanted to get involved." Now, I'm not saying they're a cult. I am not saying they are a cult, but other people said that to me, and I was like, "What?" 'Cause I was telling people around where I'm staying, like, what I'm about to go do. Some of them are very religious. Again, I am not. There is some benefit to ignorance because you have experiences then, direct experiences to learn. But if you can learn from other people, I don't know, you gotta also consider their perspective. It may be skewed, it may be filtered through some unhealthy lens, and you should always trust your own, experience, intuition, and trust what you believe in your heart, which is exactly what I did. Okay, so I was invited to go. I'm here now. I was supposed to be starting today. And guess what? I didn't go. I changed my mind. I said no. Everything in my body was saying no. It was crazy because I was telling people around what I was planning to do. And they were like, oh, putting seeds of doubt in my mind about their practices and beliefs, and they're like, "Oh, you're a single woman traveling alone, like, you should watch out, like, they could trap you there and keep everything," like, now, I don't think that that's what they would do. That's not what led me to change my mind. Let me just be clear. Um, but something shifted. So, the morning I was supposed to leave, I was fully planning on leaving and going there. But something was making me slow down. I just kept being like, I don't want to do it right now. Like, I don't want to start packing everything up and I don't want to hitch up and I don't want to start driving down the road and I don't want to navigate and I don't want to, like, I'm thinking about all the logistics. I'm trying to think about where I'm going to be staying. Then I'm getting nervous about like, the terrain because it's in, like, the Appalachian, like, it's mountainous in that region, and, so I just am like, "Uh-oh, now I'm nervous," which is something that you should never ignore. I go to bed. I was thinking of these things the night before, whatever. We're communicating, trying to find solutions, and they were very communicative. They found solutions. They offered like it's fine. Like it's not an issue. And they were also graciously accepted when I said, several things have come up and I just can't make it. I'm so sorry. They didn't persist or like demand anything. They weren't upset. Like I really appreciate that too. And I may be wrong now. I could have been wrong to say I don't wanna go, but I can't just wanna say, the morning I was supposed to be going, I'd said I was delaying everything. I didn't wanna start doing anything. I just wanted to stay, and then I started to cry, like, not consciously, like, it's not like, "I feel sad and I need to, like, take a minute and cry about this and think about things." Like, no. Like, I was, like, trying to get things done, and then tears were just coming out of both of my eyes simultaneously on both sides, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, shamanically, you have to pay attention to that. And I'm sorry for cursing. I should stop cursing. But truly, I was like, "What the fuck is this? I need to pay attention." So, the only thing I know to always be able to do without any interference. You don't need anything outside of you. You can always count on it as long as test it and you are conscious of types of questions that you're asking. It has to be yes or no. You have to really feel into it. You may need to ask several questions. I always do, sometimes repeatedly. Um, test it as much as you're testing what you're trying to ask about, but uh muscle testing in your body, using your body as a pendulum, going forward or backward for a yes or a no. You need to determine for yourself what that is. It's not always forward is yes and backward is no. Because for me, yes is backwards and forward is no. And I only know that because I always test it before I start asking questions. I qualify my questions and I see what my responses are. And then I know that that's a yes and that's a no. And then I continue with my hard hitting questions, which I often, when I have quote hard hitting questions, I feel like I have hard hitting questions because I know that I need answers. The slop that comes from my mind sometimes, it'll just, I don't even know how to explain it. It becomes word salad. I start asking repeatedly and then I start asking like other topic things and it's like, no, stay focused on this topic. Like sometimes I just like it's like Tourette's, okay? I'm just patient with myself. Just if this happens to you, be patient with yourself too. Anyway, ugh, let's get back to what we're talking about. I'm sorry for being so all over the place, but this is my point. It's okay to be all over the place. It's okay to take a minute to find where you need to go, and it's okay to question what your plans were. Because I had a plan. I thought I knew what I was doing. I really meant it. I had very strong intentions. I had been planning this for a long time, not just since this conversation with Christena. I've been following them for over a year and applied for this and been really looking forward to it and having good ideas because I love their message and what they're saying they're doing, but it has nothing my choice to not go has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me and that's fine. It seems that another opportunity always presents itself right when, you think you have something lined up and it's supposed to happen. It's okay to take a minute and change your mind. It's really okay. And this is reflected through my conversation with Christena also. So in the days leading up to my planned departure, I was also moving through a series of really strong astrological transits, just like everyone else, but particularly for me, like the Aquarius full moon. And my sun sign is in Aquarius, and a lot of these things are really like amplified. The retrograde Mercury retrograde in Cancer hit me really hard. That's not normal for me. Normally, I'm just like, wait, what? Like, why do people complain about Mercury retrograde? It's an opportunity for introspection, but well, like, whatever. But this was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, so many, like, fraudulent charge on my account. Had to get a new debit card, but it's wild because I was at the bank the day before and I was making a withdrawal and I looked at my card. I've known that I can't read my card. Like the numbers are like completely rubbed off because they're not embossed anymore. It's just printed on there. So it's like completely rubbed off. And I'm like, I don't actually like I remember what my card number is, so like I don't really care, but I'm starting to question my sanity sometimes when I'm like looking at it because more and more numbers are getting rubbed off. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I said I need to get a new car, but I'm not going to do that today because it really entails a lot of like fixing things. Because once you cut off that account, you have to like change all your auto pay stuff. Like it's kind of annoying, but it's also cleansing because you get to cut off things that you might not need. You get to pay attention to those things if you don't already, if you're not watching your accounts and all that shit. Anyway, fraudulent charges, annoying, had to get a different card. All my auto pay stuff, subscriptions that I actually want are cut off now. Annoying. Have to fix that on top of everything else I'm doing. Annoying. So it's like, it was like shit like that. But, and also being very incredibly forward with someone who is married and just being like, if you're ever sad, like you could get it. What? Christine, what the actual fuck are you doing? No, you can't talk about that. You can't do that. Shit, you already know better. Get out of here. Your shit. Your shenanigans. Anyway, sorry. Blame it on the Mercury retrograde. Anyway, I'm actually not sorry. I don't take it back, but I do know that that would be foolish and I know not to do that. So that just, like I said, be patient with me. Anyway, I kept being led to stay right where I am and just rest. So that's what I'm doing. Staying right where I am. And Mossheim, by the way, in the past I said Moshim because I don't know. No one said it to me. I just read it. So, and when you read it, it looks like Moshim. I mean, I don't know. If there were two S's, it would most definitely be Mossheim. But that's okay. Whatever. It's fine. Now I know. Let's get into this conversation with Christena Shreve-Elza, and I thank her for her time and openness. She has really awesome things to discuss, and I'm excited to share it with you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Rate, review, subscribe, and I'll catch you at the end.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I lost track of time. I started vacuuming, and then I started going up the steps. And then I kept going on the carpet. And then I looked at the clock and it was, I guess I haven't changed it since the time change. And I was like, 12:03. I don't think that's right. And I'm like, wait a minute. If it's 12:03, maybe it's 1:03, and that means I'm late. I'm like, oh, God damn it.
Hey, when you start vacuuming, it's just so fun.
It really is. And I've
Mhm.
been finding that lately since I'll say since the lunar eclipse that we had recently, I have
Mhm.
this energy that is all about progress and motivation that comes from progress. And like, I don't have much energy right now. I feel very tired lately.
Right.
I'm not sleeping in my normal schedule. I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm anticipating something that's going to be rather an endeavor. So I'm like kind of trying to save my energy, but it's
Is it a
it's
personal endeavor or collective
I
or
feel
both?
like collective and astrological, and
Yeah.
also like what I have planned. Like I have a private retreat planned with Chris in April. So
Oh, nice.
that's the first time I've ever had a private retreat. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's
Um,
exciting.
yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like motivated to take action, and I get energy when I start because I
Right.
see the progress and I'm just like, fuck yeah. Keep going, keep going. And then I'm like, oh my God, look at it. And then it's like, keep going, keep, you know how it is,
Why
especially like
stop
landscaping.
now? The
Yeah,
floors are so clean. Look
yeah,
at
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing when
It's,
you have control over something and you're like vacuuming
yeah,
is very rewarding because you see the results instantly. It goes from dirty to clean, your thing fills up, you get to dump it. Like, wouldn't that be nice to do in life? Just go
yeah,
suck up the stuff you don't like and like throw it away and start clean
right.
slate, which, yeah, I mean, we're,
That's like, that is a lot of what I would do when I was in commercial landscaping and like say I would be blowing leaves. I would be thinking in my mind
uh-huh.
about the things like I'm blowing away. And I would be
Yeah.
breathing in and out, harmonizing with the backpack blower. I'd be like, like
Yeah.
it was actually like I did that for healing. I did that for healing, you know? It's crazy. Yeah.
I don't get that much joy in using backpacks because I tend to like they're so big and they like knock me over. So I
Yeah.
let the guys do that, but it's very therapeutic when you're like tearing stuff out of the ground and you're starting over and you've got this pile of beautiful plants and it's like how can I like make this area gorgeous and where are the plants going and how can I just rip it all out and start over. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very therapeutic.
Yeah, that's why I love landscaping too.
Yeah.
Immediate gratification of beautification, progress, and respect for plants
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
integration with nature and just being able to
Yeah.
be outside. I used to say that when I kind of co-owned a company, I would always like look at the other employees that I was working with and I'd be like, don't you guys feel so lucky that you get to work outside? Like you get to be outside. Other people
Yeah.
are inside right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
this.
and it's always funny. It's like I do love that. Like when it's really pretty outside, um, there's weather conditions that I can handle, but like freezing cold
Oh
or
yeah.
scorching hot, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I remember I this is a gift. it's fun. I get to make my own schedule. I get to be my own boss. I get to like, sit here and, make things pretty for people. So
Yeah.
it's a gift. And I love it. It's a wonderful thing that I get to bring into this world, and it allows me to be creative, and allows me to make a living and to do all this fun stuff. And so yeah, yeah,
And exercise. For
and
me, that has
exercise.
always been like the main thing because I don't exercise other than that. But to be moving and doing something and building and accumulating muscle as you do
Hmm.
that, digging
Yeah,
holes and all the things. And it's just like I'm in shape because I work with my body.
yeah,
Like that, I just love it. And I love the trades. I've always been like kind of more like blue collar, appreciative of blue collar labor and appreciative of architecture and people
yeah,
who build things. Because
yeah,
it's we have that gift of being here and being able to create things physically. So I appreciate it.
yeah. I move my body a lot because I do a lot of yoga,
Hmm.
and it's a practice that I have to do. Like it's just like I don't do it. I don't do the asanas every day. Because some days I just get busy and I'm just like, I'm gonna respect it, and it's all good. But my yoga practice is very, very important to me. So um yeah, and I have an amazing staff that they get to help me bring these things to life. So I get to support another company. I get to support these people that are so good at what they do, and it allows me to have my occupation in this world. And
Hmm.
um, I love it though. I've been in the plant industry for over 2 decades, 25 years. Like doing weddings and doing flowers and making wreaths and doing containers and doing landscaping and like just, the whole world of art and design and architecture. It flows inside and outside. It should be seamless. And so after studying in school, I studied design and historic preservation, and that was my first love. Um, Even though I'd kind of toyed around with going into landscape architecture, I went with design, interior design, and historic preservation. So it just kind of it just naturally unfolded.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just went outside and I didn't really come back in. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I love that too. So you studied that in school also, historic preservation. That's very useful information
yeah,
for, s- only certain people know.
yeah.
Not everybody knows how to handle
Well, it was so interesting, just like studying the course of architecture, design, landscape architecture, how the buildings that humans have lived in, how it has changed over the years, and what
Mm,
comes in fashion, and what was, the things that were built 150 years ago, 100 years ago would not be able to be built today because of cost. And
yeah.
they always say they
Materials.
don't build things the way they used to, and it is different. Like the way that houses are built now, it's more
Oh, yeah.
streamlined, and it's more like, you can get a house delivered to you. And hundreds of years ago, it took hundreds of years sometimes to build these gigantic structures,
Yeah.
which is a whole other topic of conversation, because that gets into the church, and that gets into what were they building at that time, and the structures that they were building. And architecture has so much to go with, like, the architecture that governments use to get their government look buildings, and
Absolutely.
the churches. And yeah, I mean, architecture is so fascinating. So
Yes.
fascinating.
I, I consider that also been looking into recognition of how buildings used to be shaped and what
Mm-hmm.
features they had for conduction of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, I think, like you were alluding to, especially with the churches and how they have conductive materials and shapes and designs that uh,
Mm-hmm.
are designed to work with the energy and to
Mm-hmm.
release it and or harness it in certain
Yeah.
ways. And now we just live in boxes
Yeah.
next to each other, disconnected from nature, and Yeah, I don't like it at all. It feels yucky. So
Yeah.
I've been really interested in cob building. I think that that will probably be like the step that I take regarding like a property is probably like buying land and building a cob house. That would be amazing. And then
Mhm.
you could have smooth walls that, taper up and the ceiling kind of comes to a point so it can let the energy flow. And that is just so fascinating. So I'll have to talk with you about design features and
Yeah.
how to make that work too. That's so awesome. And you recently just did a your first shamanic yoga retreat.
I did my first shamanic yoga. It was a community class. And I was, after my retreat with Christopher, as the first time that I facilitated an entire retreat weekend, um, he put in the description of me as being a shamanic yoga teacher. And being in the plant medicine program, like I'm studying the different plant medicines that we're using and shamanism and like really like diving deep into that world, which is so fascinating. And then yoga, like I have my 200 and my 300-hour yoga teacher training, and I've been practicing yoga for 25 years. And he was like, "Yeah, you're the shamanic yoga teacher." And I was like, "All right, I'm a shamanic yoga teacher. Here we go." So I did sessions with the participants at the ceremony. And when I got back, I was like, I'm going to do a community class of shamanic yoga. And I did an opening meditation and caught in the spirits. So I combined them both. And so whenever I was describing to the students that were there, I was like, all right, this is a combination of both of my loves: shamanism, healing, yoga. We're going to combine these two and see what I come up with. And so
Hmm.
I caught in the spirits. I did an opening meditation and I literally just started rattling. And I was just like, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And music is super, super important to me. Like it is integral in my life. Like I
Hmm.
love music in all different genres. And so I had the music that I wanted to play because of the feelings that it can evoke when you're listening to it. And literally my right hand went up, my left hand started rattling, and the class was so full. There was probably 50 people in the class. Like we squeezed them in, and which I was just like so honored and humbled and blown away by everybody that was there. And I had enough space in the front of the room that I just started rattling and talking, and my right hand went up, and whatever came to me, I felt like it was like my right hand was like this little like receiver, like beacon, and my left hand was just keeping the rhythm going,
Oh
and
yeah.
it literally just poured through me.
Yes.
It was it was so phenomenal. And then we did some yoga postures, the asanas or asanas, whichever way you pronounce it. And then I did an ocean drum at the end, and I went over every participant that was there. And I was like, dear God, please don't let me step on anybody, and don't let me drop this drum on anybody. So it's like a 20-inch drum, I think, or 22. And so I was like above people doing it.
Hmm.
And then we had a really long shavasana at the very end. And the response from the people made me realize how empowering that was, not only for me, but for them to be there in that collective energy. So yeah, that's just something that I'm going to literally embrace, the blending of those two of my loves, and like being, unique. And what we all have, these unique talents, these unique gifts, these things that we can bring into this world. And being a shamanic yoga teacher just really resonates with me on a core level. I'm like, oh, these are my loves, and I love to do things my way, and I love to be unique. And with all of our Aquarian energy that a lot of people in this group that we have, like I really embrace so much of finding my own path. And that's one of the things I know we talked about my book the last time. And one of the things, even though it's called Plants Like People, there are other structures in our life and in my book that, like with landscaping, which you're well versed on too. And it's like when we make a path in our life, what path are we going down? What path are we creating in our life? And I think as we begin to unravel and embrace the changes that just naturally occur within us, what path are you going down?
Hmm.
What path are you creating in your life? And how do you keep taking those steps and letting it unfold naturally? And that's the most beautiful pathway. When you see a pathway that meanders and it's so tranquil, it's like that association with our life. It's like, are you walking down this path that's just kind of self-flowing and creating itself? Are you getting that path where it's functional A to B and that's it? It's a straight line, no detours, nothing. Or is your path just kind of, you know, smooth and subtle and curvy and like,
Hmm.
it's so that's my newfound path, is like really embracing that as I like restructure my life now. It's like, oh, this is a really cool path to go down.
Yeah,
Really
that
fun.
sounds like an amazing path for you. I'm so happy that
Yeah.
you are marrying the two of your loves and making that a foundational part of what you offer in
Yeah.
in your space. Again, my cat is crazy. I feel like last time you were on with me, my cat got on my table and was knocking things off, which is weird. She does not always do that. So
I have
that
cat energy galore because
it must be you.
we have six here. Yeah, they're
Oh,
everywhere. Yeah, they're
yeah,
just like, they're like, we can tell by her voice she has cats.
it's so
She's a cat
funny.
mama.
Yeah.
That's so
Oh,
funny. That's so
yeah.
funny.
She usually leaves me alone, but she's walking all over my desk and knocking things off. So she definitely wants attention.
Yeah, she
Um,
does.
I was going to say, did you go to, yes, you did go to Mexico and you did the ceremony in Mexico as well. What was
Yeah.
it like for you at the sacred temples? Can you describe what that experience was like?
It was so it was so fascinating because I love Mexico. And this is
Have
the
you ever
first,
been before?
yeah, I've been a lot. Like I was in Mexico like 4 or 5 times last year. I have a friend that has a house there, and we've been friends for over 40 years. And so I go down to visit him, and I have actually space and the frame of mind of quiet and being left alone and like not having all the responsibilities that I'm flooded with when I'm back in Georgia. So I'd been a lot to get down and work on my book and just vacation and get away. And but
Yeah.
this was the first time that I had been to Villa Hermosa, that area of Mexico, and so just being there, but seeing the cacao and seeing the reverence that they have for plant medicine, and it's so integral into their culture, their communities, their livelihoods, the way that they look at plants. Um, and to be there in that area and then to go to where they have actually built the structures out of cacao, the resins are used to build these structures. So leaning back into architecture yet again, what did they use to create the architecture to build these spaces? And it was just to see them there and to know that they had been there for hundreds of years and how unique architecture is all over the world and how humans have been building their spaces to live in.
So
It's
creatively with what
just,
nature offers.
yes,
So it's possible.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the thing about marble is a natural product as well.
Yeah.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like trees are a natural product. Like we literally could not be on this earth without our plant friends
Yeah.
and the magic that they hold. They give us shelter, they give us food, they give us medicines and
Oxygen.
oxygen. Yeah, I mean, and there's so much. I feel like there's so much of our entire existence is owed to plants.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, even
there's,
the ground under our feet, because without plants, there would be erosion. We wouldn't even have stable, steady
mm-hmm,
ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's when you really start thinking about the structure of plants and what they give to us in order for us to have this existence on this earth, like are they appreciated for all that they give us? You know what I mean? Like, what cultures really, really appreciate them, and what cultures take advantage of them, or
Mhm.
what groups of people within certain cultures, communities take advantage of them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And like, how do we protect um, them in their organic nature, and, not exploiting them, not consolidating them into big farms? You know what I mean? Like, some of the things that have happened historically are because of this misuse and unappreciation for the plants themselves. And they tell us what they need, and we can speak to them directly. And it's like, how do we have that communication back and forth with them? Because without them, we would not be here. You know what I mean?
100%. I'm so sorry. My son was just calling me repeatedly, even though I was declining it. He like keeps calling me. I'm like, please get the hint. I can't talk.
Yeah.
Um, yes. So beautiful what you just described, the interconnectedness of life, and the necessity of appreciation and recognizing um the interconnectedness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
and it's everything. Like, you have this beautiful screen behind you and it's got flowers all over it. You know what I mean? It's like flowers have meanings, and we use them for weddings, and we bring them into our house, and we like, I mean, there's not one day that I think you can go in your life without having a plant substance around you. I mean, it's
mhm.
everywhere. I mean, you know, through the food that we consume, the plants that we have in our inside our house, the plants that we have outside of our house, what our house is actually built out of. So I have a really deep appreciation for them. And yeah, I think they're, by some organizations, they're vastly underrated. And it's
Mhm.
just monetized for what money they can extract out of it.
Oh yeah, well
Pharmaceutical.
that's like the whole witch hunt
Yeah.
situation and Christianity over paganism and killing the witches, and it was just like destroying the sages of
Mm-hmm.
communities and making the patriarchal takeover of medicine from kitchen witches to
Mm-hmm.
pharmaceuticals. And
Yes.
yeah, it's the
Herbalists,
disconnection. Yeah.
midwives.
Yeah.
I mean, and when
Yeah.
you study that history, you're going to start seeing, like, oh, that's what Rockefeller did. Oh, that's what his interests were in. Oh, that's what, oh, when you
Uh,
really start
And
learning history that's not in the textbooks, which are written to keep us in a straight and narrow line of like, this is what you have to believe because this is what we want you to believe? Or do you start doing research outside of all of that and understanding there's a lot of control and manipulation over the power of our stories and who gets to tell those?
And it's been intentional. And who do you think
Mm-hmm.
Rockefeller learned from? Who do you think the Nazis and Hitler learned from? Who do you think, it all goes back to someone else. It has existed,
Yes.
and basically the root of it is a separation from source. And
Mm-hmm.
all of the negative aspects you could ever imagine that put you in a lower frequency regarding comparison and, envy and separation of oneness.
Mm-hmm.
So let's in reflection of I mean that's one thing that happened very clearly after my spiritual awakening. I just started looking in because I always resonated with Greek mythology. So I started looking
Mm-hmm.
toward Greek mythology and then I started getting a lot of answers and other history related like Alexander the Great, different things, different people along the line, then down, down, down in history. And I'm like, wow, this shit really just keeps repeating. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really just the same thing. Where do we keep going wrong? I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out where we were going wrong. I'm past the point that, it's right or wrong. But at
Mm-hmm.
that time, I was like, why? Why haven't we figured this out? It's very clear that we keep
Yeah.
doing the same shit over and over.
Well, because it's the people that are making the decisions,
Yeah.
and taking the intentional power away from women and their voices. women tell a different story. That's why it's history. It's his story. It's not our
Oh,
story.
yeah.
It's his story.
Damn.
So when you
Damn.
start really like, oh, okay, that's really what happened. It's so interesting because, I am like a total, like I totally geek out on learning and always trying to like peel back the onions of life. Like when you peel something back, like, oh, there's another revelation of what was said at the time and what was going on, but what was really going on?
Mm-hmm.
What was really going on? Because when you get through that lens of control, government, power, that they'll squeeze that lens so that you only see what they want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's written in the books and then we read about it and then it's regurgitated generationally one time after another and then we're left with this view of like, oh, okay, well that's what happened during the Civil War, that's what happened in World War One, that's what happened in World War Two, this is the reason why, this is the Federal Reserve, this is how we're controlled, this is how we're, it's just it's like a money grab, it's a power grab. It's
Mm-hmm.
all done by men, not to throw all men collectively under the bus, but the most powerful people that are making decisions that affect this entire world, it all comes from men mostly. The vast
Mm-hmm.
majority.
Mm-hmm.
Vast
From what
majority.
I could discern in my research, which I thought was like, I mean, it was days, it was many hours over many days of really the only thing I was thinking of was where did we go wrong? And I'll be honest, it's because I was a little bit afraid that I was God and that this was all my fault and I had to figure it
Mm.
out. But then I figured out it's not just me. Um,
Well,
not that
God is
I,
in all of us.
yes, a
God
hundred
is in
percent.
all of us. That
But
energy, whether you call it God or not, that universal energy is
hmm
it's within all of us. But the church, the moment that people said God resides within me, they were like, no, absolutely no, absolutely not. We're cutting you off right there. You got to go through this person over here to get to God. You know what I
hmm
mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
that's where I remember being little and I was like, that doesn't make any damn sense. Like I remember questioning my grandmother's Bible. Like whenever I was little, I was like, what? So tell me again, like, who is this Jesus person? Why is that being said? Like, what is going on? Like, that's in red. And this is like, I remember like questioning that and being really pissed off that I had to go to Sunday school because I was like, this is stupid. Why am I going here? Why do I have to do this?
Same. When I was in second grade, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore
Yeah.
because I had to go to a similarly like a program, like a Catholic
Yeah.
CCD. I don't know what it stands for, but yeah, after school, certain days of the week, we had to go. And I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It doesn't make any sense. It never will.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me, and I don't want it. She was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But God reside that energy, whether people believe in God or not, or whatever, there is an energy that brought us into this world. And where is that source that we came from? And if you don't
absolutely.
have a God, then go back to your source of energy. Where did you come from? What
Yeah.
is that? How do you
Yeah.
associate with it? How do you emulate it? How do you embrace it? Like all of those things. So, yeah, it's religion and it's so interesting, especially now, you know.
It was in my reflection, like I was saying, the really deep wondering why, looking into history and trying to solve it, right? What I found was anytime there comes a point where one party tries to take control for power and money, and it's always about money, and it's like, but why
Mhm.
don't they understand, especially because it was difficult for me to understand because I had just had a spiritual awakening that was it was a kundalini awakening. I was like
Mhm.
all the way open, and I was very aware that like nothing really matters. You know what I mean? So it's just
Right.
I was like, but how come we keep making the same mistake and thinking that like that is what the goal is, because like it's
Mhm.
obviously not. Like, how do
Right.
they, why they're stupid for thinking like, oh, I'm going to have
Yes.
control and I'm going to force people and I'm going to make all this money. And it's like, what? You're on like level 2, bro. Like, we're
Yeah.
on the next season. Like, what is it?
Right.
It's stupid when you come from a cosmic perspective, when you see that is the reason why. It's like,
Right.
means nothing,
Right.
but we'll get there.
Power for some people is super important, and it just gives you, it's controlling of the masses.
Yeah.
We want everybody over here to think XYZ, and we want these people over here think this way. And then they're all
Yeah.
fighting with each other about who's
Yeah.
right and who's wrong. And just coming from a perspective that, what if we're all right and we're all wrong at the same time?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't we just literally accept people for who they are without trying to control or manipulate them or tell them that what they think is wrong, and
Hmm.
just really accept them in that capacity? But that would bring about peace, and there's no money in peace. you know there's more money in war than there is in peace. There's a lot, if you come from the perspective of money, there's a lot of money in war.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just wondering, like, at what point we, the masses, will realize that money is not real and
Right.
that we don't we don't have
Right.
to play this game for it. We don't have to keep paying
Right.
into things that fund wars. We don't
Yes.
like we're in control of this
Yes.
actually because we are the majority.
Yeah.
Um, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's
It's
coming.
coming. Yeah. I mean, that's why I sometimes look at my life and I think of it as being like a snow globe. And a few years ago, like, I literally took my snow globe of life and I just shook it and like rattled, and like everything was just swirling around. And I was like, all right, let's get through this. Let's get through the divorce. Let's get through the mourning, the grief, the sadness. Like, let's get through this, and where is everything going to fall? Where is everything falling? And I think right now the entire world is just being in this snow globe and just being
Oh yeah.
shaken.
Yeah.
And just, where is everything going to fall? What's going to be sifted through? What's going to make it down? How are we going to build the foundation of the future that we want?
Hmm.
And also for our children, for future generations, like, what are we creating on planet Earth right now for future people to come into?
Yeah.
And as being, go ahead.
It may feel like chaos, but the only thing that we do know for sure is from chaos comes order. It's up to
Mhm.
us to create that order and to not force or control, because we know that
Mhm.
that's one of the first failing signs, because love does not. Love would
Right.
never.
Right.
Just operating in the sense of like, what would love do? Because to me, God is love. When I'm not religious in any sense. I see it as like a cloud of purple, cosmic, smoke, dust,
Hmm.
particulate floating through the air. I
Hmm.
mean, that's God to me. So it's just like a love energy.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I kind of tune into that cosmic cloud and I'm like, what should I do? And I feel like I get good information. Do I always listen? No, but it's always there with guidance. And I think if
Yeah.
we just, you know, ask for a second, what should I do? Ask
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you can ask for guidance too, and it might not resonate with you solidly at that moment. And so you can ask, and then you can be like, okay, well, this really resonates with me, and this is what I'm going to go with right now. And then you might go through whatever processes or whatever that you're making different steps towards. And you might hit another thing where you're like, okay, God, now I need some more information. Now I need some more guidance. And you can take the guidance and kind of run with it and see where it's taking you. But sitting peacefully and quietly, and letting the voice of direction come to you is super beneficial and helpful, to just sit in quiet, which is why there's so much chaos around us, is because when we have a busy energy field and there's a lot of stuff trying to come into it, it can sometimes cloud up our mind and our judgment. And
Hmm.
so sometimes it's like, Humans might just default back to the easiest thing, which is to go with the flow, go with
Mhm.
everybody else. What's everybody else doing? Because that's, I don't want to be the only one standing, outside the prism of who's doing what. Um, but I think there was a breakdown, and I can't remember, where there's followers, there's sheep, there's um, and I can't even remember because I read too much and put too much stuff in my field of like what's going on. But when you break down humanity as a whole, like there's certain people that are just sheep and they're going to go along with whatever you
Oh
tell them.
yeah, that's the majority. I remember
Yeah.
learning that in psychology class in high school. The
Yes.
majority will follow.
Yeah.
A small. Now let me try to recall the percentages because I do believe it's less than 10% take action and
Yeah.
start leading, and then the
Mm-hmm.
people follow that. And then there's also a small percentage of people who have ab reactions to the point that it's detrimental, like they're flipping the fuck out and it's not
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
And it's getting in the way. You know what I mean? It's somebody who's
Mm.
going against traffic when we're all trying to get out of the building, and they're the one like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's so there's a clusterfuck of this, and I'm imagining. I think we learned this talking about Twin Towers. This was what we were talking about 9/11, and we were talking about it was psychology class, and I had an excellent teacher. He was asking, it was kind of a class exercise. It's like, what would you do? And we kind of assigned percentage wise the class, like what the majority is a follower, some people are action takers, and we kind of like played out the scenario to see it in action. But it was pretty informative, and I in that exercise, I identified myself as one of the people who would take action and lead. And then since then, in reflection, I just kind of paused to think about it. Like I still agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy for that. Because as you were
Mm-hmm.
talking and you were saying people just following, I was imagining lemmings just jumping off of cliffs because
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're just following the first one. They're following the one in front and they just go
Yeah.
and then they jump off the cliff. They don't even fucking
Yeah.
know what happened, and it's like, you can't do that. You got to like pick your head up. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see like people that literally fall in line with the teachings of a church or what your society tells you or your community says, or like they're not going to question anything. They're just going to be like, I'm too busy, I'm too overworked, I'm underpaid, I don't have the time. Like in that chaos, when you don't have that time to like think for yourself and think, well, what do I really want out of my life? Do I want to follow what everybody else is telling me to do? Or do I really want to sit with the sovereignty of myself and what is it that I want? What do I envision for my family? Like without following that shepherd mentality. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes we go to the edge and fall, and sometimes we go to the edge and we fly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not going to have your own thoughts, like you're most likely going to go to the edge and you're just going to topple right over.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have that mentality of going to the edge, jumping with faith that there are bigger things in this world other than what everybody else is doing, um, then you learn to spread your wings and fly. And through that flying, we get strength. Every flap of our wings of independent thinking, that
Mm-hmm.
makes us stronger in within ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people falling over the edge right now, which is what's going on in our society. But
Yeah.
it's also waking. There's a lot of people waking up. I'm not one to like doom scroll.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think of it as I'm educating myself and what am I allowing into my sphere? Like what am I allowing into my space? Um, and so being able to pick and choose the people that the news that really resonates, um, and to educate yourself and be
Mm-hmm.
discerning, because we can just listen to somebody and be like, I'm going to believe every single thing that they say.
Yeah. What is if it feels right, that's okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
you got to question it to even
Yeah.
find out if it feels right. Because
Yeah.
if you're not even asking how this feels, you're gonna just, yeah, exactly, just follow blindly. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's not why we have eyes. We have eyes so we can see. We
Yeah.
actually have three so we can see extra well.
Yes.
So no
Well, this one's
excuses.
calcified for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to get in there, like decalcify it and bring it back online. And like, how do you really like just sit and just, and I think that's why it's important to have quiet time, even
Hmm.
if it's just 5 minutes, like really like to me, like getting on the mat and just sitting. And the mat can be a metaphor for like any quiet space that you have in your life. It could be, a sofa outside or your favorite chair or, your cushion that you love to sit on when you have quiet time, like whatever, but just really being able to sit and having that moment of quiet reflection. And our busy world doesn't always allow for that, especially in the States where, if we're not being productive and contributing to the GDP, like, you know what I mean? Like, there we're somehow not productive members of the society. But I think there's so much more to be told for being quiet and being the one on the farm growing the vegetables and having a quiet life. And like, you know when you look at I love genealogy and I love to do a lot of research, and I love to go through the census and find family members and all of that and connect these dots. And when you go back and you look at census from like specifically like the 1800s, the early 1900s, and you'll go through and it's like, what were they? Farmers, 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 farmers. You know what I mean? It's like, I remember years ago thinking, well, how do they make a living just farming? Like, what were they doing? But now that there's this swing of the pendulum going back where people are like, oh, that's what we want. We want to grow our own food. We want to sit with the solitude of like being at one with nature and being at one with the plants that are feeding us, and like community gardens and farm to table and like all of that, where it was so stripped from us. Like, go to the cities, give that up, go and work and do these other things. And there's nothing wrong with that until there's something wrong with it when you're working for somebody else that's exploiting you
Hmm.
and making a lot of money off of your hard earned work and the
And
labor.
cities are mostly food deserts also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah.
It's just so interesting to see like that shift. And I keep thinking, I'm like, when people do research on us, say 100 years from now, when they're looking through the census records and they're looking to see what we do, like, they literally used to knock on the door and do the census tape. Now it's like, I've been in my same house for over 2 decades. That's at least two census. And I don't know one person that's taking the census. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
what are they putting down? How do they know what I'm doing? Like, before, they would go and you would see in the cursive handwriting, like, they're a farmer and they have 7 kids. Not that that is, you know, whatever, but it's just interesting to see how humanity has shifted so greatly from being
Hmm.
on small farms and small communities, and like this big shift into being in big cities, and like you said, food deserts. And there is this shift. I think there's just this shift, this undertow, that people are questioning what we've been spoon fed, questioning how our food is grown, questioning our homes, like removing toxic stuff from the places that we live. And I think it's like the great awakening. And
Yeah. So
it,
someone I was talking with yesterday was even brought up that jobs are changing.
mhm,
Whether we like AI or not, it's here. And how will that shape our jobs in the future?
mhm.
I mean, like, shit. That's a great question, you know? So it's
Well, I mean,
more
it's like
it's
we,
more
we have,
important than ever, more important to just be us. We
yeah,
don't have to fit the mold. We don't have to do what we're told. We have to think for ourselves and we have to be our authentic selves to be the to match the frequency to what we're trying to actually attain together.
yeah. And I think, also pushing back on AI is like, you know, why do we have to have so much artificial intelligence? Why do we have to
Yeah.
have so much of it that we can't even function in our lives without
Yeah.
AI giving us a briefing or AI doing this? And then, and then you get into the AI data centers that they're pushing to be
Mhm.
built all over. It's just surveillance. It's
Yeah.
surveillance. It's
Yeah.
information. It just the hoarding of technology, the hoarding of information that's just, they want to build these massive centers that drain, the water and the power and, you know,
Yeah.
what are the backdoor agreements that are being made to
Oh,
make those things?
100%.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
absolutely. I don't agree with it, but it's here. Uh,
Yeah.
I, I can't stop it. Maybe we all can.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have to. Maybe there's a
Yeah.
compromise. Because
Yeah.
I consider like ChatGPT. I'm an Akashic Records reader.
Yeah.
I could just ask the Akasha. It comes a different way, but I've worked to figure that out, and I'm not the only one. And
Right.
we all have that ability. We just have to, you know, learn how to refine our receivers and
Yeah.
decipher the information we're getting. But I mean, like, why download Chat GPT when you could learn how to read the Akashic records? I don't
Right.
know.
Well, it's a default for a lot of people. Like, oh, just ask
Mhm.
AI, ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT. It'll figure it out. It'll tell me. It'll tell me. So I try to really do a lot of things by using my brain and even as a writer, I don't ask for help when I'm writing because
Hmm.
that's not my words. That's not how I would say it. As a writer, that's not how my words are going to flow on the paper or in, you know, the Canva that I'm writing it on. Like it's not going to. So Canva has this option like use AI. And I'm like, I don't want to use AI. Like that's not me. That's not my word. So,
Hmm.
other people, they embrace that. To me, it takes away from who I am.
Hmm.
So, there's a place for it, but how do we not only embrace it and allow it to come in, but have a stopping point where it doesn't take over? And how do we keep using our brains
Yeah.
and going to the Akashic records by our connection, not
Yeah.
pulling something in because AI or somebody else is telling us like this is the best way to do it. So I think there has to be this embracing it, but not being consumed by it,
Yeah. Absolutely.
tapping
And I
into
mean, like,
it.
balance, just balance
Yeah,
across
balance and
the board.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about, when do you think the next time I'll see you might be? Uh,
I don't know. I don't know. You're doing a private with Christopher.
yeah.
That'll be fun. Are you going to Shasta?
Yes.
Yeah, we're leaving.
I would love to see you. I'm trying to think of like what I'm hearing right now is September, but I was also interested in going to Tennessee potentially within the next year to check something out. And that's kind of on the way. Maybe I
Oh,
could like plan.
the monk thing.
Yeah, I love those monks. I want to
Oh
see
my,
if I can like do something there because I really do want to get involved
yeah,
in that. It seems really cool.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was I was so like just the walk for peace with the monks. Like I was like watching every day and like just I think sometimes we get so stuck in this world, like the negative things that are going on, they're always the ones that scream the loudest. It's like the big bullies, they're always the loudest and the meanest. And it's like, when you look at the world for the helpers and the people that are doing really good things, and it's like there's so much goodness in this world.
Mm-hmm.
There's evil in this world, there's destructive behavior, there's hoarding of money that doesn't need to be done. And then there's super kind people that are doing amazing, beautiful things in this world. And the monks just really like their whole spiritual outlook on life is just such a beautiful thing. So I know you had mentioned them in Tennessee and the things that they were doing. And yeah, it's just, I like to focus on the goodness that's coming out of all the big changes that's going on in this world and try to really filter it out because it can be super overwhelming. And we both have children, and it's like the things that my kids have had experienced um, and what they're going through right now, and like the things that I went through, growing up in the 80s, and how much everything has just so vastly changed. And there's good changes, and then there's changes where you're like, I don't know if that's the best. That does, what I mean? There's some really interesting progress.
That's a great way to put it. Interesting progress. I remember I was talking with my Reiki teacher, master teacher who I learned from, and I was saying something about one of my experiences, and I was like, it's so weird. I would think I was talking about, I don't know, I was saying something, and I was like, it's so weird. She's like, well, we don't say weird anymore, especially when we're aware. We like to say interesting. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
But you know what? Weird means magical. So I'll say what I want.
yeah.
I said weird and I meant it.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird shit going on.
Yeah, it's plain old just fucking weird. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's always a pleasure to talk with you, Christina. Thank you so much for
Oh
your
my
time
God.
today. And
Yes. So
like
fun.
I said, I was like, I don't know if I was twitching or not, but I was like definitely somewhere else. I was in the future. I was looking at when we'll meet again. And for some reason I was here in September and I was thinking that it would have something to do with traveling down to Tennessee. So we'll see if that comes to
Well,
pass.
Tennessee's very close to Georgia. And if you come to
Yeah.
Georgia, there's a lot of us here. We can all
Yes.
get together and do some fun
Maybe
stuff
we could
together.
all get together and then all go to that eco village together. That would be sick.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
super cool because they mostly want help planting. Their main focus is they want to grow their own food, but they don't have any experience with farming or landscaping or
Okay.
any such thing. So that's why I was like, I'll help out. I can run a skid
Yeah.
steer. I could do all kinds of things. Like I could
Yeah.
lay out the field for you, but yeah, it would
Yeah.
be
I can
amazing.
design and like make things pretty. And yeah, I have a very blessed life. So it's a good thing. It's a good gig. It's a good gig.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
gig. So
Thank you so much, Christina. And I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
you are welcome. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
talk to you soon. Bye, sweetie.
Bye. Oh, thank you again to Christina for this wonderful conversation. Listening back to it, I keep returning to what she said about the difference between a straight, functional path and one that curves, meanders, and naturally reveals itself as you walk through it. I feel like that is exactly what is happening in my life right now. I came to Tennessee with a plan. I believed that the cob building workshop and volunteering with the monks and following the sequence of events that I had already laid out in my mind. Instead, I postponed the workshop until September. I listened to my body when it was giving me very clear signals about my next steps, and I decided to stay where I am. That isn't necessarily the path changing because something went wrong. It may be the path changing because I'm finally willing to listen to something new. Sometimes the opportunity is real, but the timing is wrong. Sometimes we are led somewhere because of what we will discover once we arrive, not because we are supposed to do everything that we had originally planned. And sometimes the most sovereign thing that we can do is stop, get quiet, and allow ourselves to change our minds. I still don't know exactly what September will look like, but I know I'll be back in Tennessee for a cob building workshop. Georgia's right there, Christina's right there, and now we just have to make plans to meet again. If this conversation resonated with you, please feel free to share the episode with someone that you feel may need permission to follow a path that doesn't make sense in a straight line. You can follow me and learn more about my work through Hyacinth Healing on Instagram at Hyacinth Healing. Check out my link tree, and Christina's information will also be linked in the show notes. Until next time, this has been In My Experience. I'll catch you next week. Take care. And enjoy, as always, Stilo free lights and shadows.
pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. It's all love, but no trust. Why you think I'm doing too much? Cause pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. I roll up and go up. Why you tripping? Give me no love. Nowadays you don't gotta mind me. In the end I hope you really find peace. I had to set my mind free. I had to let my soul breathe. Moon sign Pisces, heart broke psyche. Angels all around me, but demons wanna fight me. Feel like I had to fight myself. No, I had to look inside myself. With a predisposition to addiction. Through the negatives, I'm still focused on the vision. It's sorta like that first scene you see in Pulp Fiction. I see the end, but it's really only the beginning. I had to find a way to be grateful for them locked doors that you made close. When doves cry, it's so painful, but the purple rain is so graceful. Cause pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. It's all love, but no trust. Why you think I'm doing too much? Cause pressure made diamonds. Lay back, smoking loud in the silence. I roll up and go up. Why you tripping? Give me no love. I'm fighting battles, lost between the lights and the shadows. Tryna shoot me down, I'm dodging all the ammo. Left me hanging, I escaped from the gallows. Swim through the ether, blowing on a reefer. Running like Rev when he rapped about Adidas. It's like my flow is heaven sent. My energy could shift the cards in your tarot deck. Life ain't always what it seemed. An alternate reality, I'm living in a dream. I got the Stussy on the T with the 501 jeans. Ray-Ban Lokes with the Air Max 3s. Mandela effect, got me living my best. I gotta jump timelines when I'm living in stress. And a spliff in my chest, it got me lifting the bless. Peace, you know the rest.